Hello, my name is Ryan Morgan, and I'm with Hotcakes Commerce. Today we're going to be introducing you to our new software package. We're excited about it. We've been working really hard on it for the last year, and this is going to be an introduction so you guys can see what you're able to accomplish with our tool. So just a little bit of an introduction to what our goals are. We've been working with Nuke as a content management system, for the last 8-9 years. And so during that time, we've definitely felt the same need that other systems implementers have felt, and that other folks that have Nuke websites have felt. That there really isn't an enterprise offering for e-commerce in Nuke. So what we did is we understood this, and then we approach it the same way that we approach client work. So we said, all right, start with who the end user is going to be, and so really, we start with looking at the merchant, and we start with looking at the customer. So what we're going to talk about today is really the exceptional merchant experience, and a really engaging customer experience. So we want to make sure that we have those priorities right. So those are our first priorities. But we do still understand that that there are designers and developers that need to produce the e-commerce websites based upon the software. And so I think designers will be really happy with the control that they have, and developers are going to be really happy with the productivity that they're able to achieve using the tool that we produce for them. So first, jumping right in, we're going to talk about customers. So customers are going to be happy when they realize that your site is responsive to start. So with Hotcakes, with the default installation, it's going to start out responsive. So we've standardized on Bootstrap as our platform to to handle doing responsive and fluid layouts, and so we've implemented that within the skin, and then we also have we have that implemented within all of our views. So what that means is that whenever you go throughout the site, everything out of the box is going to work in a fluid layout, and it's going to work on mobile to start. We also have a single page checkout. We've done a lot of e-commerce over the years, and one of the things that we know because of that is the fewer barriers you have to your customer completing a transaction, and the fewer steps that you have in your sales funnel, the more conversion you'll have. So single page checkout is a great way to make sure that there aren't any barriers to your to your customers completing a transaction. There aren't any barriers to your customers checking out, and there's fewer barriers to you getting paid. So next, faceted search. We really like some of the experiences that we've seen on Amazon and on Best Buy. And what we've what we've got implemented here is a way for you to be able to do faceted search and be able to filter down search results based upon not only static attributes like a category membership, but also dynamic attributes that you're able to configure. And we'll show that once we get into it. Lastly, one thing we're really excited about is DNN Social, and we are fully integrated with DNN Social. We'll show you what some of that means here in the next few minutes. All right. So without too much more slide, we'll jump out and take a look at a demo site. So I'm going to switch over to the web. And what we're looking at right here, just to kind of orient yourselves, this is just a pretty standard .NET installation. So this is the content management system. This is using the DNN Social, and so you'll see some things on here that are related to DNN Social. These are not Hotcakes features, but features that Hotcakes integrates with. But what we're going to do is we're going to start out just by by clicking into one of the category pages. So let's click on road bikes. Once we click into road bikes, you can see that we have a list of bikes here. We've got the couple of frame sets, a full bike. What I want to point out now is that as we go ahead and adjust the size here, we've got a fluid layout. So once we get this down to a mobile size, you can see that the navigation collapses into this navigation button, and then as well, all of the category viewing drops down into these fluid tiles. So we'll go ahead and expand that back out. Then we'll go ahead and click into the Argon Pro frame set. So when we click into that, you're going to see again that we have a pretty standard layout. But as you go ahead and collapse this, you're going to see that everything collapses and it looks looks nice in a mobile view. So the add to cart functionality drop down below the pictures there. The options still work, and then as well these tabs show up nice down here at the bottom. So we have these additional features, specifications. So we'll go ahead and bring this back out to full view. The next thing I want to point out is related products here. So related products underneath the Gallium Pro, these are both products that I've selected. So the two related products here are products that through the administration I said these are products related to the Gallium Pro, the Gallium Standard, and then the Krypton. Now, if I click into the standard one, the Gallium frame set, what I want to point out here is that we have this light kit here. Now, the light kit was not associated by an administrator. The light kit showed up here as a related product because somebody purchased these two products together. So we've got a little bit of intelligence going on in the background that says that if you don't already have some products related, then it's going to automatically create some relationships based upon relationships that your customers have made by purchasing items together in a single order. So that's pretty neat here. The next thing I want to call out is some of the individual features that we have here. So if we go back out to the road bikes and let's click on the Colnago Ace. So this is a complete bike. You can see here that we have a couple of different images in here. So this is the standard one, and then we also have a white image. These are also tied to the options that we have for color. So if I change this to white, that's going to change the color of the image as well. Same thing, the full black, and then the black and red. So those are all there, and we were able to tie the images to the selections that are being made over there, and this is part of the default installation. So I'm going to go ahead and purchase this. So I'm going to go ahead and add it to cart. Once I do this, it takes me to my shopping cart summary. Shows that I've got 2 items in my shopping cart. I'm going to check out with these. And you can see I've got my order summary over here. This is all again on one page. My shipping information, my credentials, those are all on one page. Again, just go ahead and show you that this has the nice responsive design. So we got the fluid layout here, and as we bring it down to the mobile size, again, navigation collapses, but also this all works in a way where you're going to have you're going to have the ability to see this and work with it on a mobile phone. Bring it back out to full view. Next thing, so like I said before, we have a single page checkout. If somebody does want to use guest checkout, we can. One neat feature I want to point out is that if you have an email address that's already been used, it's going to look up and say, hey, we see that you've checked out, or you've purchased here before. Are you sure you don't want to log in? It's not forcing them to, but this is something that that we'll make available to them right then. So I'm just going to say Mr. Ryan Morgan at hottamale.com. This is one that hasn't been used, so that's not going to show up anymore. Let's go ahead and create a new account. So let's go Mr. Ryan Morgan at hottamale.com. Let's hope I spelled that right. Let's make the username Mr. Ryan. Enter a password. And this is my address. So this got automatically put in from Google. Enter my phone number here. Next thing I'll point out is my billing address is the same as my shipping address. I don't need to fill anything in there. If I wanted to fill that out, I can fill that form out as well. Right here, as we enter the credit card information, this is automatically going to filter based upon the number. So this is a nice little thing that we've seen pop up, and we liked it, so we went ahead and implemented it here as well. So I'm going to go ahead and use a test credit card. And since we're in test mode, that's all right. And we'll go ahead and check out. And so here we see order summary, and we've also been logged in automatically. We have a user account created, and so that's how all that works. So next thing I want to point out is faceted search. So we'll go over to the search page. And I'm going to go ahead and search for Cervelo because I know that I really like the Cervelo bike line. So this is going to come back with quite a few things. So we can see that there are 29 road bikes, there are 19 triathlon bikes. You see here that if I wanted to filter by brand, I could, but there's really only one brand, so that's not going to help me. Let's go ahead and filter it down to triathlon bikes. I'm a triathlete, so that's what I'm interested in. And then I'll go ahead and filter it down as well to complete bike. And so you can see that my selections for my filtering are being shown up here. $10,000 is definitely too much for me to spend on a bike, so we'll drop that down to something much more reasonable, like $5,000. And once we do that, we can see that the results have been updated over here. Now, if I'm comparing these, if I'm going to do the Shimano, I like the Dura-Ace better, so I'm going to do the Dura-Ace setup. So we'll go ahead and take a look at that. You see in here that this one's on sale, so it's got 15% off, saving $600. Take a look at the images. Hey, it's pretty nice. Get a nice browsing experience here. So just pointing out kind of the faceted search here. This all works really well. This all looks really nice. So the next thing I want to point out while we're on the topic of social integration, or while we're on the topic of customer experience rather, is a social integration. So I'm going to go ahead and log in as a user who has a little bit more activity. And all right. So on my account here, you can see I've set a nice picture. This is me and my little girl. We're going on a bike ride. You can see some of the different activities I've had here. Maybe what I'll do is I'll go over to the community page, and I'm gonna go to the Ask the Trainer page. We go to Ask the Trainer page. I can see that there are some questions that have been posted. Maybe there are a couple that haven't been answered yet. I'm gonna go ahead and I'm just gonna go ahead and ask a question about tubular tires. So I'm going to look for topics related to tubular tire safety. Okay, so we see tubular tires versus clinchers, tubular tire options. So none of those are the question that I'm going to ask, so I'll go ahead and ask a new question. So tubular tire safety, is there any additional risk to using tubular tires, or will a flat be the same as when using clinchers? We'll tag this to tubular, and we'll tag it to clincher. Those are two different tires that we're asking about, and we'll go ahead and ask that question. So if we look in there, here's where it gets kind of interesting. You can see that I tagged this question to tubular and to clincher, and so we've got this related content over here. Now we've got some content over here where you'd expect that this is going to show up here. So this is one of the other questions that was asked. Tubular tire options. This was an event, and then down here we also have a specific product, and we have a category of products. So what's happening here is that we have integration with the tags that are being used, and so if you tag a product or tag a category, to one of the tags that's being used in your website, it's going to automatically show up as related content to that. So I can go ahead and click into there. You can see here's a nice tubular tire if I was interested in buying one, and then also here's a category. One of the neat things as well. I'll go ahead and log out, log in as administrator real quick. If I look at that same page, if I wanted to manage that related content, I could do something like this. Click manage related content, and then maybe go look for a tubular. Maybe look for tubular, and let's filter by product. So now maybe we'll go ahead and add the Mavics in there, and maybe we'll add a wheel set as well. So maybe I came in, I saw this was a really active question. I said, hey, there's some specific products that are related to what they're talking about here, so I'm just going to go ahead and add those manually. as well in the related content. Maybe we wanted to say, hey, instead of this being a related content, let's add a couple of them on there. So make a related content module, and then maybe make a related products module, make a related categories. We can do that. Just come in here and we just filter by hotcakes product, and then that related content would only show related products. Then we come over here, say this is related products, filter it by products. Now when we update it, this is only going to show products on the right hand side there. So that is the demo for that. We'll go ahead and jump back out. And we're going to jump back out to the slide deck. So the next discussion is going to be about merchants. So merchants are the poor souls who have to live with what the developers and designers deliver to them. So we've dealt with a merchant or two over the years. And we know that they all have a lot of different needs and a lot of different requirements. And so really what we try to do is we try to make the administration of the store, so make the administration of orders and products and categories and sales, make all that as intuitive as we can. As well, we understand that you actually need to be able to deal with the things that come up on a day-to-day basis, and so we give you a functional order administration, which means you're able to to edit an order after it's been placed. You're able to manage the capture and the authorization of funds separately if you need to do that. You can create partial shipments if you need to. Maybe you're out of stock on one item and you're not on the other. You want to split up an order into multiple shipments. You can do that. As well, we understand that in some organizations, the person who's responsible for managing shipping isn't the person who should be able to change settings in the application and go in and change payment providers. And really, that's something you don't want to make available to those folks. We understand that, and that's why we have the ability to segment duties for administration. We also have a couple of ways where you can do customizations without asking a developer. So both in how you collect information, also in how you and how you display information about a product. And last, we have a nice native iPhone app. The iPhone app is going to allow us to allow you to go in and manage orders and capture payments and do the things that you like to do on a daily basis, and also get some nice dashboard reports as well. So jumping back out to the demo again, we're going to jump out to the store. All right. And right now I'm logged in as the host, so that's perfect. So I'm going to go under admin, and I'm going to go up into Hotcakes administration, click into there. And we can see here that we have we have this all listed up there. So I'm going to go ahead and click into an order. So I'm going to look here. We've got some new orders. These are all in the receive state, so I'm going to accept all those. And now I have a number of orders that are ready for payment. We've got that one that came in today. I know this had a couple of things in it, so I'm going to click into that order. We see here that we have 2 items that came in here. So we're able to see kind of the high level order. We're able to see what's happened as part of this. See who the IP address was. We're able to see really kind of any step that's happened in here. So these are private notes. These are also notes that are added to the order as part of the order workflow, which we'll talk about later a little bit when we talk about developer enhancements. As well, you have the ability to add a note that's seen on the order detail screen. So if we wanted to let somebody know there's an issue, we'll be able to do that. So let's kind of get back to what I was talking about earlier, though. In the real world, your customers are going to place an order, and when they place an order, they're going to realize that they ordered the wrong thing, or they ordered 2 when they should have ordered 1, or any of that. You have the ability to come in and modify an order. So you can see here that you can modify the order, you can change the quantity, you can add additional things in here, you can modify the customer's instructions. You can modify any of this, and it'll update the order. And then that will, that'll all be reflected back to the user. So next thing, for stores that actually ship when they get an order, or I'm sorry, capture the funds once they get an order. That's a workflow that we support. So if you think about it, really, you're not supposed to charge your customers cards until you've actually shipped the product. So really, you can authorize the card. So that's why you have the different options there for authorize versus capture. And so basically, what you have the ability to do, right through the application here, is you can come in and you can say, all right, I'm gonna go against an earlier authorization. You see here that there is an authorization listed over here. I'm going to go against that authorization. I'm going to go ahead and cancel, capture those funds. So the total order was 4898.95. So I'm going to go ahead and charge the card. Let's go charge the card that was on file. You see that the credit card charge is listed over here in transactions, and that as well it shows what's left from the order status. You see the amount due. The status has changed to paid. So next we'll go over to shipping. Now, like I said earlier, if we did need to split this into multiple shipments, we can do that. So let's just go ahead and do that. So shipping 1 through UPS. See, and we'll go and ship it. And then we'll go ahead and ship the last item we have here, which is the frame set. So maybe this one's going through FedEx. And we'll just do this 1, 2, 3, 4. And so now you can see that you have 2 different packages that have been shipped, and this shows as such. So now everything in the order has been shipped, so the status of the order is automatically updated to complete. And then really, you can see all the actions that happen over here as well. Okay. So that's how you manage the payment, the shipping, and the order. So kind of shifting gears a little bit. Remember earlier I was talking about the ability to do role segmentation. So I'm going to go here under role administration, and you see that there are a couple of different roles that are listed here. So first is catalog management. So catalog management means anybody who is allowed to modify the products, the categories, change images and pricing. Also, somebody who is able to add promotions and add sales. Second is orders and customer management. So this is really the ability to manage and see your customers, see their order history, manage orders, and manage capturing payment and shipping. Basically, some of the things that we just went through. Next is store administration. So really, store administration is going to be somebody who can modify settings about how the application is set up. Turn on and off the REST API, modify email templates. This is modify payment provider configuration. Really, the kind of setup things that somebody who's managing fulfillment is really really shouldn't be messing with. And lastly is mobile access. So if you want to grant mobile access to just a specific group of people, you can do that. One thing to note is that the administrator or the host administrator always has access to log in through the admin and always has access to all of these pages. And then if you want to grant access to individual users, you would do that by adding them into a role out in the CMS. Okay. Excuse me. So next we're going to go take a look at promotions. So taking a look in here, we have the ability to add sales. So the first thing I'll do is I'll add a sale. Now adding a sale, you're able to do this based upon product, by category, product type. You're also able to do this by user role. And by the time we release, we'll also have the ability to add a discount for users who have achieved a certain badge or who have been given a certain badge in DNN Social. So qualifications, let's just go ahead and say when user is in a role. And we'll say whenever a user's in a moderator role. So anybody who's doing the work on our social site, we'll give them a nice little 5% discount. And we'll say this is enabled, and we'll make it live for the next year. All right, so now we've got that moderator's discount listed in there. As well, if we wanted to have coupons, we can do that. So let's create a custom offer. So we'll say whenever an order has a coupon code, so we can add that, and we can add some coupon code. So ship, free ship 2013. And what we'll do is we'll go ahead and say that the item has free shipping if they do that. And now we'll say this is free shipping, coupon code 2013. And then the description will be shown to a customer once they've added it is just free shipping. Let's go and save that. And that's how you modify those. Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't make that disabled. So I need to enable that, and there it's going to show up. So now I've got that free shipping 2013. Okay. So last, I want to go ahead and call out the iPhone app. I'll pull this up, and I'm just going to run this in my simulator locally here, so you can see it on the screen. This is a native app, something we did build in in Objective-C. So this is a native iPhone app. This is so I'm going to go ahead and log in. You can see that I put in the URL of the website that I'm working against. Go ahead and log in. And this is going to pull up my dashboard. You can see here it's showing me the orders that came in today. There's that order that we just placed a little while ago. You can see it's already been shipped and paid. So let's take a look at orders that are ready to be paid. So let's grab this order, order number 6. This one's ready to receive payment, so I'll go ahead and come in here. I see the order was $2,099. I can, if there are multiple credit cards, I would just capture against that, but they've just got the one, so I'll go ahead and capture the funds. So now that's been marked as paid. Come in here as well. I can enter in the tracking information. So 1Z. And mark that as shipped. So now that's been marked as shipped. You see that we're able to do the two main functions you're going to do on an order. Also, if you need to pull up the user's information, the information from the billing address will be surfaced as a contact. So you can, right from the device, you can make a phone call, you can send an email, or you can actually create a contact from this information as well. So that's all there. Maybe if I wanted to look for the order from Nick, I could do that. If I knew the order number was 3, I could look it up based upon that. So you can see here that we've got some nice search capabilities built in as well. And then as well, as I said, we've got the list of orders are all right here. Okay, so that's the iPhone app. Go ahead and quit out of that, and we'll jump back to the slide deck. Next is our designer group. So the designers who were working on the slide deck said that the icon we were going to use for the designer had to be hip. So he's got the designer glasses and a mohawk on. I hope I'm not offending anybody with that. So designer experience, though. What we want to call out here is you want to have designers want to have full control over what gets rendered, right? So what we have here is full control over all the HTML that's used to render what comes out. So the way that we're able to do that is that we're using ASP.NET MVC Razor views. So this is this was a decision that we made because we wanted to make sure that one, designers have the ability to fully manipulate all the HTML that gets generated, not just kind of style some of the ASP.NET user controls that get used. So really, this allows folks to be able to get down to the nitty gritty and really modify anything they want to about how how the customer facing portions of the site are going to be rendered. What this also means is that you don't have to learn our token engine. You don't have to learn our templating engine. Really, what we're doing is we're giving you a standard. So one, that means that you don't have to learn something that you can't use at another job. Also, that means that you're not going to be put in a situation where you're completely relying upon us to give you demos and documentation. So one of the things that I like to do when I'm explaining why this is a benefit is just go out and use Google to help me do my job on modifying a view. So I can go out and just Google Razor views and Google what I'm trying to do, or Bing, and I'll be able to find something there, and it'll help me it'll help me do my job. So again, I'm using a much broader standard, and I'm tapping into resources that don't even know that I'm using hotcakes and don't need to know. So the other thing I'll call out is that we have a fully functional example for responsive. So what we saw earlier when I walked you through the customer experience, this is a great starting point for your designers. So designers will be able to take that and really build on it. You've got a fully functioning example on how to do responsive out of the box, and then really it's up to you to continue that or not. But really that's a nice head start for the work that your designers going to have to do. Next is the ability to redesign implementation based upon data. What that means is, you have access to the same objects or the same data that are being used by the application to do its work, right? So because this is MVC, you have the model there, and the model has all the properties in it that the application needs to do the work that it's doing. So that means that if you need to access a property, then you can access a property, and you didn't have to rely on us to create a token for you to do it. Really, you just access the property of the object. And I'll demonstrate this a little bit. As well, you have the ability to override views that are being used for rendering at any level. I'll walk you through this as well. Last, for the dynamic portions of the site, like the category viewing and product viewing, where it's a dynamic portion of the site, and as you go to different pages, those pages are gonna load up dynamic content based upon the URL. You may have some additional content that you need to display in a product or in a group of products or in a specific category. And rather than having to modify a page or create a specific page for that, you can use these content blocks to drop in some content in there. So jumping out for the demo, let's go ahead and jump right out to it. So let's first just take a look in the admin. I want to point out that we have this views manager. So in the views manager, what you see is that we have a view set. So a view set is a folder of views, and so these are CS HTML files. This is a folder of views that are being used to render all of your public facing pages. So basically all the pages that are being viewed on the actual e-commerce portal, those are all being rendered based upon the views that are right in here. Okay. So if you want, you can come here and make an editable copy, and then when you do that, we'll tell you the where the folder is, so you can go modify those files there. So what I'll do now is kind of point out that you have the ability to override these views at any level, right? So if we open this up in another tab and we go into a product here, it may be that the Gallium Pro, this is one of your main products. This is a product you sell quite a bit of, and the way that this is laid out really needs to be different for the Gallium Pro, or maybe for the carbon bikes you want to have a more custom view or a more custom layout where you can call out some of the information. For instance, here, we have a lot of information, for the features. So, maybe because we have such a long feature description, we would want to have a different layout for these types of products. Well, we can do this a number of different ways. Underneath products, we can go into an individual product, and we can override the view at the product level. So because this one's not set, it's using the default view for a product. But if we wanted to come in and use one of these copies or use one of these modified ones, we could do that, and that would override it just for that product as well. At a product type level, if we wanted to come in here, we'd be able to override. So maybe just for bike frames, you're able to override the view template that's being used for bike frames. So then, when you create a product, right here, this is the generic, but if we were to pick bike frames, then this would know to automatically use that view that you overrode for that product as well. This is available for categories too. So if we want to override the way an air pump category is being rendered, these are the different options that we have in this current installation. As well, let's say that you wanted to create a page just specifically for one of your products. You could add the product viewer module onto your page, and then you could override using the module settings what product view or which view is being used for that. So you come in here, pick a specific product, pick a specific product, pick a specific view, update that, and then this view is going to be rendered based upon that selection that you made there. So if you want to do some A/B testing and kind of test different layouts to see which is which is more productive, or which leads a better conversion, this would be a great way to do that. Especially for some of your SEO folks that are doing this kind of work. So kind of switching gears a little bit and talking about what a designer is going to do. If we switch over here, take a look at Visual Studio. So I've got Visual Studio up. You can see that this is an MVC view. This is the view that's actually used on the related products right here. So if I close edit mode here, this is what's being used to render this specific little related products area. So you see here that we have an image, and really this isn't using an ASP image or anything like that. This is using an actual HTML control, and then we're dynamically putting in the image URL and putting in the alternate text. As well, let's say that we wanted to add in a little bit extra content in here. So let's go ahead and just do p class equals record price, and let's do HTML .raw, and then just pass in some information from the model. So let's grab user price. So here's an important thing I want to point out. We're getting IntelliSense right here. So not only do you not have to learn our tokens or learn our templating engine, you don't even have to remember what the names of them are, because you have full IntelliSense for these products. So I'm going to go over user price, display price. This is a function, so I'm going to pass in true to include adjustments, and then that's all laid out there. So right there, we just added we added some specific text into this. As well, the next thing I point out, let's say that I wanted to go out and let's say that I wanted to make sure that there was no spacing around the product name. So this is an ASP.NET Razor view. So let's just do a view for Razor views. Trim. Yeah, so I think it's called trim or truncate. Let's say truncate string. Okay. So right here is Stack Overflow, which those of you who have ever been here know that Hotcakes Commerce does not maintain this site. We've got somebody out here who's asking a question, so I'm not putting the data here. Say, all you have to do is just add this .trim at the end. So I can take this hint out here from Stack Overflow and come back over here. Let's just add this at the end of product name. So do .trim, and now we've cleared off any space at the end and the beginning. So that's all you have to do. You're able to really easily modify all the templates. Again, calling out that this is down to the actual HTML that gets rendered. This is really a powerful feature. This is a way for your designers to be a lot more productive. So speaking of productive, let's talk about our developers. So developer experience. Now, there are a lot of different places that you can modify and enhance hotcakes to meet your needs, right? So first of all, if you know anything about ASP.NET, you know that within those views, it's useful to be able to have a partial view. So not only can you modify the view, down to the level that we showed before, you can also create your own view. So let's say that you got some specific logic that you need to have as part of the add to cart. You could replace our add to cart section with your own add to cart section, and then that would you could also have that call your own controller. So you could pass in the model from from the page that's being rendered as an input into your partial view, and then that would pass up to your controller, and then you'd be able to write a custom controller. And again, this is all ASP.NBC. So because you're using hotcakes, you're using the framework that we put on top of DNN that allows you to use ASP.NBC. So custom or partial views and controllers, this is something that you can create to enhance the views that are already there. Second, the order workflow. So if you think about a lot of different places where you would need to do some work, where you wouldn't be able to tie into that from a view, would be some of the work that happens as an order is managed, right? So remember earlier, the process that we went through where an order came in, we went in, we marked it as shipped, we marked it as paid. we actually give you a complete template for the order workflow that is the one that we use, and then we allow you to add your own tasks and inject those into any point. So you'll have complete control over the order workflow. So an example of this, maybe part of your part of your experience is that you need to post a workflow, or you need to post an orders information out to an external service. Maybe you're integrating with your ERP. You'd be able to do that really easily just by adding some custom code into an order workflow. As well, another idea for this, we have a client who sells access to webinars, and so the clients who sell the access to webinars, what we're doing for them is we made it so that whenever they go through and they get to the point where they've paid in the order workflow, we added our own task in there that posts that user's information out to the GoToWebinar API. And so what that means is that it's going to go ahead and register that user after they've paid for access to the webinar, and then they're automatically going to be registered for it. So there's a lot you can do there. I'm gonna go ahead and say you'll be able to find creative ways to implement that. I'm looking forward to seeing how people integrate with their existing systems with it. Next is the action delegate pipeline. So that's a fancy way to say that you can write custom code that gets executed on certain views. So you think about there are a couple of actions that happen that you may want to be able to write some custom code to do some work before they're executed. So think about on the add to cart button. So the add to cart button for a view, you're able to add your own tasks that are executed before add to cart executes. So an example of that may be you have an external inventory system, and before you allow somebody to add it to the cart, you may want to check with your external service to see if there is inventory for it. And what you're able to do is you're able to inject your custom code, and then you're able to say that either the action should continue or it should stop. And then if it stops, then you return a message. So maybe what you do then is you'd say, hey, we don't have inventory. Please try again later, or please call this phone number. That's something you'd be able to do just by returning that message after it failed. Last is actually a couple other places where that happens on the checkout. So when you click secure checkout, before you continue on, you're able to add some custom code that's around the checkout process. And then last on the cart page, so where you actually click pay, but before the payment workflow is executed, or before the order workflow is started, you can add some code in there. So again, using the inventory example, if you wanted to just check again to make sure that there was inventory before the order was placed, that's something you'd be able to do right there and either continue or stop the order from being processed. Last is the REST API. So anything you can do through the administration, you can do through the REST API. We have a REST API that's able to be open. You can define your own REST API key, and then you can define when that's open, and you can also turn that on and off. So if you don't want the REST API to be available, it's off by default. You have to elect to turn that on. And then one other thing that I would point out is that anything you can do through the administration, you can do through that REST API. So if you had some kind of a process you wanted to use to synchronize products, you'd be able to do that. If you had a process that was tied to inventory, updating inventory based upon your internal inventory, you'd be able to do that against the REST API. This is a great way for you to integrate your internal your internal ERPs and the different things you'll need to do there. So definitely, we've provided a lot of places for developers to to connect with that. One question we have gotten a couple of times is if we're going to offer source code. We are not. So the source code is not going to be available. We won't have a source code package. What we try to do is we try to provide places for you to integrate that won't put you in a position where you're going to be stuck on a version because you need to modify the core. So really, we want to be able to provide support. We want to be able to provide upgrades, and by managing the points at which integration happens, this is going to allow us to be able to provide a backwards compatible version of the application and always be able to support you and your customers. What a great transition. Support. So Hotcakes is really focused on making sure that we provide a professional experience for both you and your customers. So we have a paid support option. Paid support option. You're gonna have a service level agreement. Depending upon the severity, will depend. Will dictate the exact response time that you'll get. This is going to be a paid service. So if you want to have email support, phone support, there are going to be real people here answering the phone. This is actually Jeff. He's one of the guys who's going to be doing support. So for those of you that pay for support, you might get to know him. We also have community support. So for those folks who who need to save the money, there is going to be a forum, and we are going to have a website that's available for you to go and use to get support from other people who are using Hotcakes. And then as well, we'll have a knowledge base where we post things that we find people are asking questions about, and then webinars like the one you're watching today will be something that we push out pretty often. Licensing. So this is how we're going to do licensing. We have a couple of different editions of the software. First is the standard edition. So standard edition is going to be a perpetual license. So you're going to pay $16.99 per license one time. There are going to be upgrade fees for major versions. We'll probably look to do a major release every 12 to 18 months. Minor upgrades or minor maintenance releases won't have additional fees associated with them. This is licensed per URL per server. So that means that you can have a multi-portal installation. You can have a multi-tenant installation, but for each one of those URLs, you do have to pay a license for that. As well, for each installation you have, so think about every app pool that you have. For each installation or each server that you have, you are going to have to pay a different license as well. So the best way to kind of explain this is give an example. If you had a 2-server web farm, and it was just doing a load balance for one website, for one URL, then you'd have to purchase 2 licenses, one for each of those servers for that URL. Now, if you had a multi-tenant installation on 3 servers, and each one of those had 3 websites, then you'd be looking at 9 licenses at that point. So that's how that's going to be licensed. Now the Hotcakes commercial, the Hotcakes social version is going to be requiring DNN social. So the standard version runs with DNN community. So there's no requirement to have professional or a requirement to have a paid edition of DNN for that. But if you are using Hotcakes Commerce, there is a dependency on DNN Social. We're going to offer 2 different ways to purchase that. So if you want to purchase the DNN Social license through us, that's going to be at $13,699 per year. So you'll save a little bit of money on there. We're basically saying that if you purchase the bundle from us, then you're not going to need to pay the additional fee between standard and social. It's $21.99 per year if you bring your own DNN social license. One thing I'll point out is that we are going to bundle support with this as well. So you get a nice $1,000 savings here if you bundle Hotcakes Commerce with DNN social. Again, this is a yearly subscription, so that's going to be a per year fee, and just like standard, this is licensed per URL per server. That's a little bit different than how DNN Social is licensed. They're licensed just per server or per installation rather. So it is important to note that if you had a multi-portal installation and DNN Social, then you would only need to pay for the first installation or just the first time for the $12,000 for DNN Social, and then for each additional license or for each additional URL for each multi-portal and for each portal and then installation, you would need to pay for an additional license for that for that URL. Last is support. As I mentioned earlier, for the paid support, to get the service level agreement, that is going to be $4.99 per year. And really, this isn't a way for us to stick it to you. This is really just a way for us to make sure that we can properly staff it, right? So this is going to be per URL. So if you have a multi-server farm, if you have a 3-server farm, we're only going to charge for the one URL on that. So That's it. That's our presentation. We really hope that you're as excited as we are. We know that there's a great need out there, and we're looking forward to filling it with hotcakes. If you have any questions, go ahead and email me at info@hotcakescommerce.com. A couple of important dates coming up. Pardon me. The first one is 5/13. We have a private beta available. We have a couple of people that have submitted that. So I will say that we've gotten a lot of submissions for folks wanting to participate in the beta. So if we don't pick you, please don't have your feelings hurt. Apologize for that. And we are specifically looking for an integration with DNN Social. So if you have a DNN Social website that needs to be integrated with e-commerce, please drop me a line and let me know. We are still looking for one more site that we can include in the private beta that has the implementation with that. So 5/13 also is the day when we're going to make the demo site publicly available. So the site that I was using to demonstrate the features today, that site's not quite ready for everybody to view yet. We want to add some more content in there and add a little bit more design to it. But that is the starting point of what you're going to be able to go and use and kind of poke around on, and that's going to be available here in the next couple of weeks. 5/31 is our official release. So on 5/31, you'll be able to purchase hotcakes. And then if you're in the Chicago area, or if you're already planning on going to Internet Retailers Conference, IRCE, that's a big national event, and it's in Chicago, June 4th through 7th. We are co-sponsoring a booth with DNN Corp, so we're going to be calling out the DNN Social and Hotcake Social. So if you're interested in that, if you're around, if you're coming, make sure you come see us. We're going to be at booth 147 and 148. All right. Last thing I'll point out is on our website. So we've gotten a lot of questions, and we are also using DNN Social on our website. So if you take a look at the community section of our site, we do have a place for you to come and suggest features and ask questions. So we definitely want to ask you to come and engage us and come talk with us. The ask a question feature. You see there's a lot of questions have been asked over the past couple of days. We put this up, so we're doing our best to come in and answer them as soon as possible. So if you have some questions, come drop us a line up here. Also, if you want to suggest a feature, if there's something that that you don't think we have, or that you ask a question about and we don't have, come drop it in here. We'll be happy to ask that here. Also, our blog's up here, so if you want to come keep tabs on us, we're putting news up here. And definitely check out our site at hotcakescommerce.com, and we'll have we'll be continuing to make updates there. All right. So thanks again for joining me. Really appreciate it. You guys have a great day.